This is V News, and in today's top stories, Jumhuri candidate Qasim arrives in Malé after a successful trip to North. Honorable Qasim receives warmest welcome shown by Kashidu to a presidential candidate. Ulemas asks public to vote for a leader who will defend Islam. Jamiatul Salaf asks voters to be faithful. With the details, Hamza Latif.
Assalamu alaikum and welcome to the news. Jumhuri coalition candidate Qasim Ibrahim spoke to press about the upcoming vote after arriving in Malé today. Qasim met the press at Malé Harbour after returning from his trip to the Northern Islands. Qasim speculated about the outcome of the vote in his interview. A Jumhuri coalition candidate believes no one party other than his coalition can secure the presidency in the first round. In the event of a runoff round, Qasim said he would consult with his coalition partners before making an alliance with others. Parties in Qasim's coalition include Adalat, DQP and a breakaway faction of PPM led by Umar Nasir. Qasim is also backed by Gayoom's in-laws Ilyas and Abbas Ibrahim, who are also state dignitaries and experienced politicians. According to Qasim, informal polls show that he would come out ahead of PPM in Saturday's vote. Jumhuri coalition candidate Qasim Ibrahim made one last stop at Kashidu before returning to Malé city today. Qasim arrived in Kashidu this morning after visits to Domfano and Edafushi in Bayatol. The Jumhuri coalition candidate and his campaign team received a warm welcome in Kashidu from his supporters in the island. Qasim met with the people at his rally house in Kashidu. In his speech there, Qasim addressed a few MDP hecklers nearby. Qasim believes MDP candidate Mohammad Nasheed is sure of defeat at the polls and is taking it out on rival candidates. State dignitaries Abdullah Kamaluddin, Ilyas Ibrahim and Abbas Ibrahim praised Qasim at the Kashidu rally. Ilyas described Qasim as trustworthy and committed to serving the people. Abbas Ibrahim said his family has confidence in what he called Qasim's outstanding leadership qualities. Abdullah Kamaluddin said Qasim's contributions to the country would be written down in the history books. A religious conservative NGO has urged voters to elect a president who will enforce Sharia and respect the Prophet. Local NGO Islamic Research Foundation held a press brief at Darbarge today to express their views on Saturday's vote. NGO member and popular preacher Adam Shamim described voting as a religious obligation. He also urged the public to ask a preacher's opinion before casting their vote. Shamim called on voters to vote for a candidate who will defend Islam and not for someone who mocks the Prophet. Fiqh Academy Vice President Dr. Iyas Abdul Latif also spoke as a member of the Islamic Research Foundation. He called on voters to make sure candidates have proposed policies that do not leave room for other religions in the Maldives. Another member and preacher, Azmat Jamil, repeated calls to consult a preacher before casting a vote. While local preachers have called on voters to elect a candidate who will defend Islam, most preachers have shown open support for Jumhuri coalition candidate Qasim Ibrahim. Qasim's policies also include plans to spread Arab Islamic education, enforce Sharia and include Quran as a mandatory subject in school curriculums. Religious conservative NGO Jamiat Salaf has urged voters to consult a preacher before casting their vote on Saturday. Salaf issued a press release on Thursday stating their views about Saturday's vote. The NGO has called on the public to vote for a candidate supported by the majority of preachers. Salaf also called on voters to consider a candidate's ability to maintain Islam as the state religion and enforce Sharia as the only source of law for legislation. Salaf also described voting as a religious duty, however, only after proper consultation of Sharia and the views of preachers. The NGO further called on the public to accept the outcome of the vote and not allow any conflict to take place. And we continue with V News in English. The entire police force has been deployed across the country to maintain security during Saturday's vote. Police Commissioner Abdullah Riaz spoke to the press about the issue at a brief held in Malé today. According to Riaz, all police personnel will take part in maintaining security during the elections. In efforts to strengthen capacity, Commissioner Riaz said police personnel have been asked not to take a leave of absence since 1st July unless in case of an emergency. Also, Riaz says that special training was given to all personnel for the elections. According to the Commissioner, police are prepared to respond within 1 minute to the scene of any conflict. Also, the military or MNDF are on standby to assist the police if necessary. An operational plan for Elections Day was also shared with the military as well as the National Security Council headed by the President. The Commissioner urged the public to cooperate with the police to ensure peace and security during Saturday's vote. Police met with the official campaign agents of candidates today to discuss last-minute preparations before the upcoming vote. The campaign agents of all candidates except MDP's Mohammad Nasheed took part in the meeting. Deputy Commissioner Hossein Waheed spoke to campaign agents from the police side. At the meeting, the Deputy Commissioner requested all campaign agents to make sure campaign materials near voting stations are removed before 6 p.m. on Friday. Police say the campaign agents had given assurances that they would do so. Meanwhile, the Deputy Commissioner promised that police personnel are more than prepared to prevent violence on the day of the vote. He also expressed hopes that MDP would cooperate as well, even though the party refuses to attend meetings held by the police service. The Department of National Registration has issued 330 identity cards for last-minute applicants in preparation for Saturday's vote. DNR was kept open until 7 p.m. today to receive ID card applications from across the country. The department's director Farida Yusuf told VTV that application forms from outer islands were forwarded by local councils by air and sea. The department is working to issue all requested ID cards for the upcoming vote. Every voter needs to display their ID card at voting stations. Farida says her department is working to make sure no one will be denied their right to vote for lack of an ID card. Farida notes the hard work put in by her staff after hours to process last-minute applications. However, DNR says around 300 ID cards remain because the applicants didn't show up to collect them even after public announcements were made.